O come, Emmanuel. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear. 4,000 years ago, in a town in what is now Turkey, the Lord began to speak to an otherwise unexceptional man called Abram, telling him great things. He spoke of an epic plan to use Abram's offspring to reflect his image to the world. It was a plan for the fullness of time, to unite all things in him, things in heaven and things on earth. God told the man Abram that he was doing this so that you will be a blessing. These offspring were to be the agent through which all families of the earth shall be blessed. The man trusted the Lord, and the Lord counted it to him as righteousness. As this epic plan began to play out, however, it seemed as if God had chosen the wrong people. The group he had consecrated to bless the nations was not following the plan. In fact, they were doing the exact opposite, failing to bring God's justice, peace, and love to the earth. The Lord became angry with his people, asking them, "Is not this the fast that I choose? To loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover him and not hide yourself from your own flesh?" So God sent his people into exile. In the 6th century BCE, the great nation of Babylon attacked and conquered the Israelites and forced them out of their homeland in Canaan and into a faraway foreign land to live under oppressive Babylonian rule. But God's plans would not be foiled so quickly. He told his people, "A Gaal will come to Zion, to those in Jacob who turn from transgression." In the nation of Israel, a Gaal, or kinsman redeemer, was a person who was responsible to rescue a relative in need. If a man became so poor that he was forced to sell himself into slavery, his nearest of kin could buy back his land and relative for a ransom price. So Israel clung to the hope that the Lord would send this kinsman redeemer to pay the ransom for Israel and rescue them out of exile. The Israelites had failed to be the perfect image bearers that God had called them to be, but there was one coming who would be great enough to fulfill the task. During the time of their exile in Babylon, God sent many messages to his people through prophets, so that they would know that he had not abandoned his plan, however badly it seemed like the Israelites had screwed it up. In these messages he told them, "Behold, I will take the people of Israel from the nations among which they have gone, and will gather them from all around and bring them to their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land, on the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king over them all, and they shall no longer be two nations. And I will set them in their land and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in their midst forevermore. My dwelling place shall be with them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Then the nations will know that I am the Lord who sanctifies Israel, when my sanctuary is in their midst forevermore." In Hebrew, Emmanuel means God with us. God was with the Israelites, even when they had rejected him and his plans, even in their sins, even in exile, and he promised to be with them still. Through these prophets, the Israelites were given a hope that God had not abandoned them nor his plans, and he was soon sending someone to rescue them, so they could return to their land where God would establish his kingdom among them, and that through them, finally, the nations would know the Lord.